To Dublin, Joyce is probably one of the great writers of the city. Joyce created the city of Dublin in his writings, and people come from all over the world to see the city that Joyce created in his books. What we have at the centre is mainly an interpretive exhibition, focusing particularly on his novel Ulysses, which is really his big presentation of the city, but also walking tours of the city so that people can go around, see places associated with Joyce and his works.
The house itself was built in 1784 and it was due for demolition in 1982. It was saved by Senator David Norris. He saved the house on the basis that the lower levels were at one time used by a man named Dennis J. McGinney. McGinney appears as a character as himself in the novel Ulysses. So due to the connection between the book and the house, Senator Norris was able to save it.
The door to number 7 Eccles Street is the door to the house that Leopold Bloom, the central character in Joyce's Ulysses, lives in. It was a real house on a real street, but the real house was demolished in the 1960s. Now, at that time, the door was removed from the house by Patrick Kavanagh and Flann O'Brien. They brought it to the Bailey pub on Duke Street, where it remained until 1995, when it was brought here to the Joyce Centre.
The stucco work here is quite noteworthy because it was done by a number of stucadors, but most notably Michael Stapleton was involved. And Stapleton was the leading stucador artist of the Georgian period. It's a very nice, well-preserved example of Georgian period architecture.
The room reconstruction here gives some impression to visitors of the kind of place that Joyce lived. We often think of writers, maybe writing in an office or something like this, with lots of quiet around them and lots of space. Joyce was doing his writing off the back of a suitcase in some cases, with his children and other friends and family around him all the time. And so the room reconstruction here gives some impression of the kind of conditions that Joyce was living in while he was producing this famous book.
There are many translations of Joyce's work here at the centre. We have Portuguese, Slovak, Czech, Japanese. These are some of the more, I guess, unusual languages that Joyce's work has been translated into, but it gives the visitor an idea of how important Joyce is on the sort of international scale.
But a great many people come here just out of curiosity. They've heard the name Joyce. They want to know who the guy was and what he's famous for.
We find that one of the best, if you like, points of entry into Joyce is through an understanding of Dublin itself, the actual topography or the geography of the city itself. That also works the other way. Joyce is a unique point of entry into Dublin and Ireland as a whole. It's a unique way of understanding the history of Dublin itself. He said famously of his novel Ulysses that if Dublin was to be wiped from the face of the earth, it could be reconstructed from the pages of that novel. So it's quite a bold claim, but it does hold true because of the emphasis he himself placed on reproducing the city of Dublin in his work.